Hi, everyone, and welcome back from our massive vacation. I hope everyone out there in Twitch land has had a amazing holiday, and I hope my entire party, all my guests are back. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday yourselves. We actually talked about how our holidays were, so I know it was amazing for all of them, but it's always nice to say. So if you don't know, allow me to introduce myself. I am GM Jared, and welcome to the Runelord Legacy, where we will be playing through Rise of the Runelords. But the caveat is, Pathfinder came out with Pathfinder Second Edition, so we're playing in Pathfinder Second Edition. Now, as always, we're going to start the morning off. Well, my morning, everyone else's evening on the group, with our cast and who their characters and what they're kind of going through. We did leave off on a cliffhanger. So to tell you about what's going on, I'm going to toss the ball over to Dawn. How you doing this morning, Dawn?
Hi, folks. I'm Dawn. I play Nexon, who's the gnome Stitch Witch of the party. And yeah, I think right now Nexon is just hoping that all of us coming together has helped save Cecilia, and we'll find out.
Hey everyone, I'm Becca Godsey. I play Rain, our Alceste Moose character, and I'm so excited to be back, but also very worried to see where we go from here because things never go as planned.
I muted myself. I unmuted myself. Hi, I'm AJ Winters. Today I am playing the catfolk investigator of the group, Cecilia. Cecilia had a bit of a traumatic event at the finale of last season, but asked for help for the first time and had a very lovely friend moment. So I think Cecilia is like grappling with that a little bit and also freaked out that everything is gone dark. So yeah.
And hi, I'm Aristocrat, and I play Scarlet, the elven cleric of the group. And just like everyone else, we're just done with this huge emotional scene where we all kind of cried. I mean, I know I did, and we'll see where we start off. I'm excited.
And g'day guys, my name's Michael, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and I play the role of Malvolo, the puppeteer inventor, as well as the puppet Collodi, the sassy and chainsaw-happy puppet that has spent a lot of time climbing up this mountain, getting to know these wonderful fellow travelers on the road to whatever mystery surrounds our ejection from our homes in the past to the current present day Galarian. But yeah, I'm super keen. I've been hyping this adventure so hard, and I've just realized something that this game has that none of the other games on my channel do. And that is the boss meter, which I've completely forgotten about until this moment, and I've realized that there are some members in chat that I need to really worry about, because they are big donators who have just joined up. So thank you, everyone, and yeah, let's have a fun time. Let's not get too hasty. We love your support, but let's this is game one, please, guys.
But that's very much true, Michael, and very much that leads into that's a great segue because it jumps right into our sponsors, and we are currently being sponsored by the amazing Hero Forge. We do all our miniatures and they help us, and you could see the miniatures we have, and they're awesome. We didn't really change a lot from our minis from last season to this season. Maybe I'll force someone to get a hair change, Becca. Rain's gonna have silver hair from now on. That's standard.
For the amount of trauma she's been in, that makes sense.
The ghost house was definitely the top tier one.
Yeah.
Hero Forge is an amazing sponsor. Thank you very much, Hero Forge. Next up, we have Sirenscape. We do all our sound from them, and of course, Fantasy Grounds, where we do the VTT. That's our virtual tabletop of choice. It's Fantasy Grounds Unity, correct, Michael?
That is correct.
Awesome. Because they had the older Fantasy Grounds, but now they moved. Also, as Michael said, we have the boss meter. And how does that work? Well, there's a number of ways you, the viewers, can interact with us, the players or me, the GM. And that's by awarding through donations. So for a $5 award, you give a player a hero point and you choose which hero you want to give that to, or you could give it to me, the GM, and I get to use it to be a jerk. $10 gets you a sin boon, and that's like a spell or a magical ability based on one of the 7 deadly sins. So, which is kind of the Runelords fancy. They love the 7 deadly sins, and greed's the big one currently happening right now. So for $20, a natural 20, which has saved the party more than once. And of course, $50 for a grand mythical item. And when all of that racks up to $100, we have Boss Meter. And that's an epic boss battle, which went off last game, which then involved all my players launching everything they had at it, which was pretty awesome. And speaking about last game, it has been over a month. So why don't I do a quick recap for everyone just in general, just so that we're all on the same page.
Sorry, super quick, just before we do, a very special shout out and thank you to Malakisa, who has just donated $25 for 5 Jinx points for Jared.
I love you. Thank you. I love you. You are loved, and it is by me. Oh man, it's happening today. Guess what's going down? I'm so happy. Thank you. So quick recap. I'm now awesomer with Jinx points, but besides that, our party had ventured up basically Hook Mountain, right? They came to the town of Turtleback. They heard there was rumors of something shady going on there. They made their way over the Turtleback, and they found out the giants were being controlled again, which Rain has been dealing with that situation. On their way there, they did meet Scarlet and Cecilia, 2 more time-displaced heroes. As they continued their adventures through that area, they made their way up this area called the Hook Mountain. In the Hook Mountain, they did find a number of giants were kind of forging and creating weapons of destruction. They tossed a giant, I believe, off a cliff by accident as Rain bum rushed the door, knocked it open, and the giant fell, which happens to the best of them. They should have known what they were getting into. They made their way up. Cecilia actually had to deal with a reoccurring vampire villainess. They finally put her in the grave in her place. They saved a dryad and her lover. And at the very last, they were battling this very powerful magical giant wizard of sorts, who had this chair. And while the giant was sitting upon this chair, the giant was going to summon a lost and ancient species of mythical beast called the Rune Giants. These are massive, titanic. The best way to understand what they are, if you're up to Greek mythology, think the Titans that fought the gods. That's what these entities are. He was trying to summon them in, and Cecilia did the most, got to the chair, knocked the giant down, sat upon the chair, and was being overflooded with energy. As she was being overflooded, kind of her mind was being warped and being pulled into that dark place and trying to take control. She did something very uncharacteristically and asked for help. And the party, without hesitation, helped their friend. And in that help, the mountain started to crumble. Things were going down. Everything was exploding. They held each other, knowing that this was probably the last moment. There was a voice that said they were loved. And that's where we went dark. And that's where we pick up. The darkness leaves and coldness touches everyone's skin. Sun has come up and you are standing on the top of a mountain, literally the top, as the rest of it seems to have been sheared off. There's rubble everywhere, bodies strewn across. The titanic rune giants that were being summoned have been destroyed. And where you stand around you is a bed of wondrous blue flowers. Strange, because you are on a mountainside and this is blue flowers. As you look in the distance, a wisp kind of fades and smile, and they wave, And you see it's the Dryad and her lover, their spirits fading into the wind. Look around, group kind of shaking off the rubble. And in the corner, you hear a low rasping breath. It was the giant you were fighting, the wizard, seemingly clenching onto life. In their hands, they hold that giant medallion, the 7-pointed star medallion. They start to laugh. You think this is it? You think I was the end? We have more in store. He makes eye contact with Cecilia, especially for this one. And with that, he turns into stone and shatters. The wind starts to pick up, and the group looks around, kind of rumble, go through everything. And as you kind of come to the edge of the plateau you're standing on, you look down and you could see the other hill giants that were down there. Some of them seemingly have escaped and now taking off into the woods. We change scenes very quickly as you are now all warm and rested. Your bodies have healed after time, and you smell cooking. Rain is making her morning mushroom porridge. You kind of all come out of your tent and you look around, and it's been a 10-day at this point. You started making your way back down the mountain, and you were able to find a teamster who will take you back. Douglas, a dwarf. He's a little grumpy, but he's a good guy. Charged a fair price to give you guys a wagon and help you everyone get back to where you need to go. The morning is nice. It's warm. It's definitely not the mountaintop anymore. Rain, you're outside. You're cooking your morning stew. Twilo is bringing back all different kind of nuts and shoving them every so often into Kalodi's skull, as you just found out Twilo was making a nest in Kalodi's skull a while back. You see Ari, Scarlett's come out early this morning to kind of get her morning routine started, which takes about an hour or so. You got to take care of that skin. Nexon is sitting by the morning campfire, stitching something, kind of coming together, maybe a new costume for Kalodi. And over in the corner, you see the tent of Marvolo and Kalodi. Kalodi's outside. Kalodi has been aggressively trying to help you, Rain, with breakfast.
Yeah.
And every so often we'll come back with like different things to put in the stew or the porridge, but Kalodi doesn't eat the porridge. So it's just arbitrary stuff.
Not all of it is edible.
Yeah. Most of it is just like, why would I put that in?
Nice.
Yeah. A few times he came back with like some like night crawlers and stuff. It was like, oh, it's for the protein. And we're like, no.
Look, you can't just have, porridge that's just gray goop, right? Okay, look, I found this purple flower, okay? It's kind of like the shade of night kind of thing. I think this would just make the whole dish really pop, you know?
Yes, pop so much that, we would never be able to taste anything again. How about you leave the cooking to me and you go help find some more nuts? Yes, that would be really great. Yeah, we can always have a few more acorns to mix in.
A few more acorns.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think I saw some acorn trees just not too far away. Yeah, we can make them eat acorns.
You've caught enough. when you think you've got enough acorns,
Yeah.
get more.
More acorns.
More
Oh,
acorns.
I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. I think I know exactly what
Yeah.
you need. Okay.
Good. No. Yeah, just get plenty of acorns. You never know when we're going to need 1,000,000 acorns.
Okay. You coming, Twilo?
Twilo just kind of pops out at the excitement of it and quickly scurries over on top of Kolodi's shoulder.
All right.
Right, well, you two
You
come
can-
back soon when I call, okay?
Yeah, you can come too, little fungus creature. Come here, you.
Yeah.
Ha.
Cuckoo.
All right. Acorn Patrol, forward! And as Kolodi makes his way into the forest, you don't hear from him for about maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, and then suddenly you hear the sounds of a chainsaw hitting trees.
What is all the ruckus?
Thank goodness you're awake. I'm trying to get breakfast, and clearly someone has decided to wake up the entire forest. Can you please go inform him that cutting down trees is not the way to get more acorns?
Why is it that I always get lumbered with the boring tasks?
Well, you can make it exciting. Feel free to make it into a game. I don't know, be
Alright.
creative. Breakfast will be ready soon, I promise.
Okay.
Just as Cecilia turns around, she comes face to face with me, who has a full mask of the mud that we found out. We found a little bit before. Ah! Don't bite me! It's just me, it's Scarlet.
It's alright. It was the mud. You spooked me. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, sure.
There's like awkward tension now. It's like we've accepted we're friends and now everything is weird.
Exactly.
Douglas, the dwarf, kind of waddles over, and he reeks of whiskey. Kind of plops down next to Nexon, and Douglas is a good heart. Terrible, though, at being polite. And just kind of sticks his finger into the porridge and swirls it around and puts it right into his mouth. And he's,
Oh! No. That's not sanitary. Don't do it. No, here. She'll grab a handful of mushrooms pulled to the side. Here, you can munch on these till it's time.
aye, that is good. Oh, and he just starts to chomp on them and like takes a handful and shoves it in his mouth. And with his mouth full, he's like, lots of you could probably put some salt in that.
Yes,
I
thank you.
think she was still cooking, so
Yes.
hence why she didn't say breakfast was ready.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you have to be careful with some of this. You got pretty lucky, though you should monitor yourself. If it's not cooked properly, well, your stomach may get upset later, okay? Just next time, wait. There's a reason why it has to cook so long.
And he swallows. He's like, well, I haven't had any problems. And you hear a low rumble coming from his tummy. He's like, wait,
No, not here. Not here. You go far. You walk until you can no longer walk, and that's where you can do your business. Do not let your grumbling tummy and upsetness come anywhere near this breakfast.
Douglas kind of pops up on his uneven boots and just kind of waddles off real quickly as he passes Marvolo's tent.
Oh,
He's going.
So as he stuck his finger in the pot and started stirring it, and then that whole exchange happened. Malvolo, who's been up quite reasonably early, has managed to find some time to take a bath and actually properly clean his clothes. While the prestidigitation is obviously very useful, there's nothing that feels better than freshly washed and freshly cleaned attire. So he comes back with kind of like his towel around his waist. He's still wearing his mask, and he's got like a second towel over his shoulders, with his hands sort of with very neatly folded clothes in them, as he sees the dwarf manhandling all the food. It's like, I never thought I'd say this, but I hope that Kalodi finds some nuts. And I'm going to also look to Nexon and say, perhaps it is just me, but does it seem to you that all of the people who seem to traverse this town appear to be slovenly drunks? You remember the man on the river? The what was his name? The beard and the cat.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe we just attract that kind of personality.
I sort of imagine that he looks over and the dwarf kind of is scratching his ass or something, and he's like, oh, God, I hope not.
Kalodi!
Yeah, do you hear something? He says to Buttons.
I just like tap on the back of his head.
Oh, hello. Hey, Cecilia. Good morning. You're looking, how come you don't catch fire when you're in the sun?
What?
No, that's just, you know, I mean, yeah, you're very quiet.
I'm also covered in fur. That's probably why.
Ah, yep, that makes sense. Wood, very noisy. He says with a chainsaw on his hand, in like it's idle, so it's like just sort of just by his side.
I think you have some screws loose. Look, I don't think cutting down the trees is the best way to collect nuts at this point.
They'll never take me alive. I got these nuts legit.
The forest police.
Also,
Forest police.
I don't want us alerting every monster or creature or person in the woods of our location, so perhaps, would you mind putting away the chainsaw?
Oh, yeah, no, I got you. Gotta be quiet. It's almost like I'm conferring with the two familiars, like with Twilo and with Buttons. It's like, yeah, okay, go, shh, yeah, shh, okay. You got it.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, my lips are sealed. See?
That's utterly disturbing.
Look,
just collect the nuts quietly and then come back for breakfast.
Kind of hear a sound echoing through the forest. It's time to eat. Everyone come back and try to wash your hands or something.
Scarlett, I approach the porridge and sniff it and ask, is this vegan?
Actually, yes. We haven't had any bugs or meat that we've been able to find, so we've really used a lot of acorns and mushrooms and leaves, so you'd actually be quite good right now.
All right. Okay. I will try it.
There is a nice hardiness to it, and if you feel something that's a little bit more dense, that would be the mushroom. It can sometimes have a slight meaty texture to it, but it's just nice and dense to it. I promise I'm not lying.
Okay, great.
And she'll scoop you up a bowl. Go ahead, give it a test, and let me know. If you like it, I'll give you another scoop.
Okay, sure. I will go inside the tent, try a spoon, and then come back and tell you. Okay.
Sure, yeah, go and, okay, bye. Okay, bye. Who else wants some?
Is this
Good.
the flesh mushrooms? Do you have that here?
The flesh mushrooms?
Yes, it sort of grows out. It looks like skin, tastes like raw meat.
This is, I figured we weren't in a raw meat sort of fleshy, considering what we've been through. So I opted for some that also looked a little bit more appetizing as well, a little less
Right. Yes.
human flesh looking. Yeah.
Yes, because it would be wrong to crave human flesh. Yes, I'll try some mushroom.
Yeah, it still has a nice meaty texture to it. It's if you'll notice, it's the darker brown pieces in there. If you want to target those specifically,
Thank you.
And the berries in there, they're very deceiving. Even though they look like they probably would be fruity, there's actually a lot of iron in it. And maybe that's would give some sort of appeal to you.
I'll try it.
Okay, good. Okay. Next in, here's your bowl. Couple scoops here. There you go. It's nice and warm, so I encourage you, eat it while it's hot, especially because once it gets cold, some of the ingredients act a little funny at that point, and I can't guarantee you what it will taste like or do to your body once it's chilled.
Oh, all right. Nixon's just gonna kind of very quickly scarf it down.
Why does it have a taste of whiskey and finger?
Just gonna side eye. Where's our friend?
At this point, Kalodi walks in with Twilo and Buttons. He walks over and says to Rain,
What?
You can reattach your lips now.
Yeah.
you got a bowl? Like a
bowl. Oh. Kalodi, do you know what? Sure, you can have some too. There's enough that everyone can have.
Oh
some.
no, just an empty bowl.
You want an empty bowl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love playing pretend as well. She'll give you a bowl.
As all these acorns sort of fall out of his mouth, like almost like you know when you like pop the cork of like one of those cereal bar things, just and it's an absurdly large pile of acorns. Some have definitely fallen to the floor as he then
Oh, that is an impressive amount. Kalodi, while I'm very grateful that you have now given me all of them, do you think you could hold on to them? My pockets aren't big enough.
Oh yeah, sure. It's just yeah.
Just take it all back in. Like just
Yeah, okay. You got
You've
a
done
spoon?
great though. Yes, and she'll hand you a spoon. That's right. I was about to say eat your nuttos, but that sounds way too weird.
He just starts,
I want that shirt.
yeah, he just starts
Nuttos.
shoveling acorns back in. But he's also like with the others. He's like, one for me, one for Twilo, one for Buttons, one for me, one for Twilo, one for Buttons.
As that's happening, Dougal kind of waddles back in, and he's like, "This smells delicious." And he comes over to Marvolo and like puts his hand on Marvolo, and as he puts his hand on Marvolo, he bends over, and you can now see he's like trying to shake a leaf off of his foot, like it was like toilet paper. And he's like, "Oh, got another one stuck." Sometimes you stand up and you fall a little bit. And then he just pats Marvolo on the back and he's like, "You gonna have any of that?" And he reaches down and he like just tries to like scoop up some food from Marvolo's bowl with his own spoon.
Marvolo, who now has these grubby fingerprints on his freshly cleaned shoulder, sort of stops for a moment as he I'm going to make a will save on this one. That's what I'm going to do. Marvolo says very little at this point. He places his bowl calmly next to Dugan as he then stands up. He doesn't say anything. He just sort of nods and bows. You watch as he slowly starts to unbutton his shirt and goes back to the rack that he sort of set up in front of his tent near the fire that has his towels on it. And you watch as he puts the towels over his arm, and you just watch as he just, without saying another word, just walks back in the direction of the river.
I guess he needed another morning shower. More for me. And he kind of like plops down and just starts to eat from Marvolo's bowl.
goodness.
Why do we have this man again?
Because he had the
I say
wagon.
I say to to Rain, I'm standing by the food.
He
The
does
guide.
eat. Yeah.
Do we?
Listen, we don't really have time to wander around in the woods and hope that we get there. He has the means to help us get to where we need to be faster, so
But
trusting
if he's
him
making
will-
Marvolo take showers every 30 minutes, it's going to waste time anyway.
I know. I hear you. We'll
This
have
is
to
his
do a little
14th bath in like 36 hours.
I know he's gonna wash his skin right off. It's gonna be a mess, and ultimately, to be honest, if he's gonna smell that good, he's going to start attracting any kind of bugs nearby. But that's gonna be a whole mess. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna have to do. We'll just have to keep them separated. Can you be in charge of that? You know, being the defense, last line of defense.
I'll make
You're
it
good
again.
at setting boundaries.
Am I? I feel like I'm losing that ability. I walk away.
I get out of the tent and go to Rain and say, you know what? Actually, I went to the tent to get rid of the portion because I thought it was going to be disgusting, but actually it was pretty good.
Good. Thank you. And I have to appreciate your honesty. Would you like another scoop?
No,
Right. No. That's okay.
I mean, it is quite filling, so.
Well, good. I was hoping so. Trying to find what we can here. It's a slightly different terrain, and the ingredients are, well, a little strange here, but I think I've got most of them picked out. They've evolved a little bit since I've last remembered, and most of them are at least reminiscent. I did take a few guesses here or there to see if they were, bad and whatnot. But don't worry, I tested it on myself first before I put any of it in the soup. Safety first for everyone. And it turns out I think, no, I'm still fine. So we're okay. We're okay.
I go to the river and yell for Malvolo. Malvolo! Hey!
Malvolo responds. You can kind of see he's bathing a little bit further upriver, and he immediately sort of gets out. You can see that he sort of grabs the towel that he's got hanging on the branch. He hasn't got his mask on because he obviously doesn't wear it when he bathes.
Everything is going
according. A bathing scene in the role play.
Look,
Why am I picturing
Under a
Yasti
water-
of
Yeah.
everyone, I would like to point out, one, of everyone in this group, Malvolo is the most likely to have a bathing scene. And number two, this is actually not the first bathing scene that we've had in this series, though.
Let's not remember that one.
Though we saw nothing. Nothing
Not
was seen.
remembering that one.
Nothing was seen.
This is the morning steam rising from the river.
So
Yes.
just to clarify, the handsome Malvolo who barely shows his face is currently nude in said river, and Scarlet, the most sexual of the other counterparts, is watching. Cool. Yeah. No, continue the scene.
So I say I have still my bowl, who's still like half full. I didn't finish it actually, and say, I heard that you didn't finish your portion because the dirty dwarf put his hands in it. So if you want some, I have food.
You watch as Malvolo kind of wraps the towel around his waist. He's shy in a particular fashion. He kind of like does so surreptitiously behind like some bushes and the like. But he's rather than showing you his body, he seems to be more concerned about showing you his face. As he says, Scarlet, thank you. It is appreciated. Just set it down on the rock over there. I'll see to it in a minute.
No, you'll have to come in and get it. And also, it's quickly becoming colder, and apparently the more cold it gets, the more hazardous it gets, so you should hurry up.
That sounds like a lie, but You watch as he grabs the mask and again places it over his face. His hair, which you can actually see because he's not wearing the hood, is actually quite long. It goes like to the middle of his back, and it's jet black. His body well toned because he's actually quite fit, like in terms of like just survival and as you imagine, carpenters have quite musculatures. But he does have lots of scars, lots of wounds over his body. These are from just countless hours of building traps, making devices and the like. He has the hands and arms of a craftsman, basically. As he approaches, towel around his waist and mask on his face, he approaches Scarlet and takes the bowl.
I go, just take it. Take it. And I keep it away from him. Why don't you take it?
I'm not so sure. I just if I could. He's sort of like trying to sort of move past you and try and grab the bowl. My bowl is not great at flirting, so he's just kind of sorry. I think I'm if we can just you know what? Perhaps once I find my and he's going to turn around and try and grab his clothes.
No. Wait. Here it is.
He stops and he's very confused as he turns and he with one hand kind of takes the bowl.
And I move it a little bit and go, whoops, almost fell on your towel there.
Malvolo is going to try and basically he does this reflexive like one hand grab of his towel and then dodges backwards because he like imagine like you're pouring hot soup, like he's just like, oh god, no more dirt, I don't need another shower. Scarlet.
Yes.
Listen, I know we haven't known each other for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate you. I think that originally when you had arrived, we had, well, obviously been thrown into a scenario where we really didn't know what fate had in store, and with the dangers that are mounting constantly, the hill giants, the crazed magician at the top of the mountain, and of course, incidences among the other members of the group.
Okay, I'm bored. Bye. And I leave.
I think you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. And I'll take the bowl and I'll look at it and I'll put it back down by the river. I'm not eating it.
And I just stopped and I heard what you said and I just smiled to myself, but keep going.
And I'll re-robe.
As the scene kind of moves away from 50 Shades of Scarlet to to the camp, Dougal finishes Marvolo's bowl of porridge and kind of stands up and rights himself, cracks his back. You could hear his spine just cracking from constantly sitting in the wagon chair. He looks around and he says, well, it's good morning. We should start out. These lands are just terrible. They've become sodden with water from that flood that we had not too long ago. But Rain, why are we heading back to Magnamar? That you said something about my back. Oh, 1 second. Oh.
Do you want to here? Come here. Turn around. She's gonna position him. Okay, now put your arms over your chest.
He crosses his arm.
Perfect. Okay, breathe in. And when you exhale, and she's gonna pull back. It's a great way to stretch the back.
Yeah, as you yank back on this dwarf, his little legs kind of pop off the floor, and then you hear like the crack, and he's like, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Good. No, we're not done. There's the full thing.
Oh.
Okay, now give me your left hand.
Gives you left hand.
All right, we're gonna reach across. Now give me your right knee into my other left hand.
He raises his knee up, but like,
Right.
trying to get around his belly.
All right, I'm gonna...
I turn over to Nexon. 2 silver coins says that he throws up.
Ah. Oh. I'll take you up on that bet.
Okay, on the exhale, we twist. And then we do it on the other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And she'll twist his body.
As you begin to twist him, the group sees he's starting to turn a bit green. And can Cecilia roll me a D20, just a flat D20? You pick high or low. So 10 high, he bombs, or 10 low, he holds it.
Oh my.
Okay, I'm gonna say highs.
Okay.
2.
Oh,
So it was almost 12.
It was almost a 12. I saw it. So as he turns, he just a explosive fart kind of comes out of him.
Okay. No, it's fine.
He's like, oh, sorry, lass. Sorry. I apologize. I haven't moved like that in ages.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Here you go.
Technically, we should do the other side, but that's okay.
Thank you.
We're not going to. Farting's
He's like,
natural.
yeah,
I'm not shaming you. It's just really.
Maybe we just do this one side for now, and then yeah. And he kind of like picks his pants up and like turns them a little bit. It's like, so yeah, these lands are pretty sodden with that flood that happened a few weeks ago. We should probably head out. I'll pack everything up, get it into the carts, and then we'll move out in about 10 minutes. How's that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Is Magnamar on the way back to Sandpoint?
No, as the group the last place you all were was in Magnamar. You haven't had a good reason to go to Sandpoint yet.
Actually, we may no longer want to be heading to Magnamar. And she's gonna pull out this letter that's got the like Sandpoint crest on it, and look over at Rain and say, Cassandra, actually, I just got this note via Raven from Cassandra that things are cleared up, so we can return with Malvolo, and he's not gonna get, arrested for crimes he didn't commit.
I'm sorry. What?
And yes. So when we were dealing with the serial killer, the sheriff in Sandpoint, which is where we had been kind of living, and I had a little bit of a shop there and all that. The sheriff thought that Malvolo was responsible for some of these murders, so that's part of the reason that we went about trying to clear up finding who was responsible.
An accusation
But
which,
he
of
didn't
course,
yet.
an accusation which I would like to point out came with great irony, given the history of that particular sheriff.
Where did you come from?
Like originally, like where were my parents from, or?
Never mind.
Well, when we landed, or when we arrived in this time period, it was, of course, outside of a small town by the river. By the ocean. It's called. It is a place known as Sandpoint, a hamlet with a meager trade of fish and glass. We were there for at least the better part of a decade, I believe.
Yeah, and it sounds like they, we're definitely welcome to come back, and potentially there's something going on there that they'd need our help with. And I'd love to, Celia and Scarlett, I'd love to show you around. Scarlett, you might enjoy the theater that's there.
Why would I?
Oh, I just
Scarlett,
thought
it's
you
called
could appreciate the
Culture.
performance and the costumes.
Yeah, it sounds boring, but okay.
Oh, they're very talented. The way that they can just set scenes up before your eyes and magically switch from one character to another, it's truly just a wonder. It takes such talent that, well, I don't even dare sit close to the front of the stage. It's just too amazing. I always sit in the back, also because I have these, and she'll kind of pat at her antlers. It typically isn't appreciated if I sit up in the front.
Okay, I've actually never been to a play. I've done some shows myself, but it wasn't like, with text and stuff like that.
Well, now
Well,
you get to be a
They're
patron.
always looking for performers, so you could be.
Yeah, I don't think it would be
that.
that kind of performance.
I just want to reiterate that where we left off, not but a few days ago, I think, we were threatened with this isn't the end. Are we just going back to normal life and pretending that things aren't as they are?
Well, I mean, with both Lucretia and Baal defeated, the murders and the symbols of the Runelords seem to have been cut off at the source. I don't believe there's anything we can be able to do unless our runes begin to do that glowing thing again. That's how, when I first came here, I found Rain and Nexon. It wasn't until they told me which direction to go that we even knew. While, of course, I am partial to relaxing and returning to at least some form of restful day-to-day, I think it would be good to at least get our bearings once again and maybe establish both of yourselves for your, what could potentially be an extended stay in this period of time.
How long?
Yes. Think of it this way as like setting down roots. Before you're going to be able to have massive reach, you need to make sure that you've got a place, good soil.
So I'm here permanently. I thought this was to sort out what was ever going on with the runes, not to stay here indefinitely.
Well,
I assumed that there was more issues going on, and that's why I was still here. I didn't realize that this wasn't just a vacation to assist. It was an uprooting of my entire life.
Do you want to leave, Cecilia?
I didn't say that. I just...
Before we head to Sandpoint, perhaps there's something we should show you. Malvolo will talk to Dugan, and if he's willing to accept the fare, I would like to hire him to take us somewhere else, to the north of Sandpoint, before we arrive there. Basically, instead of going directly to Sandpoint, to take the road along the coast.
Like it is, yeah, it's your money.
I would like to take Scarlet and Cecilia to Thistletop, and I want to see Crut, or at least I want to bring them to where we last saw Crut, where we put him.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not too far from Sandpoint. It's fairly close. So, Dougal kind of looks at you and says, "Well, it'll add about a day, to the travel. But if you're paying, you got nothing to worry about. We got enough rations, and you guys have been foraging. So sure."
All right.
it's a good idea. We should
They need to
pay
know.
our respects.
Yes, and they need to know what Well, what we've been through.
I think Cecilia spends the day traveling just in her own head. Unless the conversation continues, I think Cecilia just like internally panics for 24 hours about apparently her new fate.
Yeah. As the party kind of goes on, now hearing that you're going to be stopping off at Thistletop, the old Goblin Fort. It's about, like Dougal said, it's an extra day's worth of travel. You've been on the road for about a 10-day at this point. So what's one more day to that trip? As you travel, you do see the aftermath of the dam from Turtleback Ferry exploding. The grounds have become sodden and just water wrecked. Trees have been upturned constantly. As you go, you can see even this far from the river, there are actual boats just in the trees, in the land, destroyed this far inland. You are following a river, but normally, you would be, there would be road. This is, you're just in the mud for the most part. A day's worth of travel time. Cecilia kind of goes back into herself. Rain, can I have a survival check from you, please?
Yes. Oh. Thank goodness.
It sat on that too for way too long.
Yeah.
Is as you're traveling and you notice the destruction of that river and what it has wrought upon the land, your eye starts to pick up on things that most normal people wouldn't. Your druidic training, and what you're picking up on is you're noticing that as you're getting closer towards Sands Point, towards Thistletop, you're starting to notice that some of the trees that wouldn't have been in the way of the destruction seem to have been knocked over, as if stuff is kind of moving through these lands, a larger creature or creatures. As you're kind of following that with your eyes, you get the inkling that maybe something's moving and you're following behind it.
Does anybody else notice our pathway is a bit more clear than it should be? Look. The ground before us is fairly well cleared, and any branches along the side or brush have been clearly pushed past or broken. This is not a small mouse just running through the field here.
Can I investigate?
Yes. Cecilia, having the moment to put your mind away from your thoughts is a quick reprieve. You kind of hop off the cart. It's going at cart speed, so it's just meandering through the mud, taking its time. You hop off, your boots kind of smush into the ground, and you kind of move towards the tree line. As you do, you start to look around. Please roll a perception check, because you're more like now looking. Oh wow, you and Rain, same pluses up there. Looking around, you do start to pick up on things, and you rush a little deeper away from the cart into the tree line, and you pull up first something shiny catches your eye as the sun hangs low in the afternoon. Something shiny on the floor catches your eye, and you start to clear it away with your hands. The mud making it easier. You reach down and you pull up. And at first you think it's a branch. Maybe it had some kind of amber on it, but no, as you start to pull it, it is a long blade, almost the size of a rein. Rein is now a standard unit of measurement, and that's about 7 feet.
That checks
So
out.
this, yeah.
Rain?
Yes. Yeah. What is it? What is it? Did you find something?
Yes, you need to see this.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Well, that's not naturally occurring in the woods at all.
No, and I would also say the creature that wields this is probably a lot taller than 7 feet.
It would need to be easily. The massive strength it would take as well to be able to hold such a thing. Can I try to lift it a little bit?
It's a bit unwieldy, but you can you do the you prop it, you pull it up,
Yeah.
and the blade just goes right. So you're it's huge. As you prop it up, it's very big, but it is not well made. You can feel it. It just looks like a sharpened piece of metal with a handle. Very crude.
We're not following in the footsteps of any more trolls or anything, are we?
Oh, I don't even know if a troll would wield something like this. I mean, it's possible, you're not wrong, but...
A giant?
Could Malvolo inspect the grip on this weapon, and kind of ascertain a hand size, what, you know what I mean? If this is a two-handed weapon, if I look at sort of the spacing between where the palms would fit. Same thing if it was a one-handed weapon, how big this creature might actually have been.
Yeah, so that actually fairly comes easily to you, Marvolo. Having worked with your hands your whole life, you would kind of understand this. It's probably a one-handed weapon for something that's pretty big. The way Rain is holding it, she has to spread her hands almost one to the hilt and one to the pommel to keep it balanced in her hands.
And this is like I said, this is something I will mention. I'll say this is a one-handed weapon. This is if you can see the curvatures here.
What?
This is definitely the weapon of a giant or some other immense creature, but something clearly much larger than the hill giants we had fought.
That's not good.
No, it is not.
Nexon, what was the reason that we were going to the city in the first place? What did they need help with?
What was it specified, or was it just vague?
It was fairly vague. The letter from Cassandra said she cleared things up, and with the way you read into it was basically she did some quick talking, cleared things up, probably yelled at Sheriff Baylor, and that it was okay for you guys to come home and get back into your lives. But additionally, she said the town seems on edge, it kind of reminded her of the first time you all met.
Nothing specific, just that seemed like something bad was about to happen. Lots of folks on
Yes.
edge and all that.
I think I'm getting the same sense.
So obviously Hook Mountain, which is where we just come from, had the ogres and stuff like that. Are giants normally in the mountains as opposed to down in the lowlands, which is where we are?
Giants would.
Like, I mean,
You know what?
I mean, are there giants kind of in the lowlands, like in this area? Is it uncommon to see like towering figures?
It is fairly uncommon.
Okay.
Like,
And the blade is old looking.
it's not well made. It doesn't look old, and it still holds an edge,
So
right?
just
Like
poorly
Rain, as you,
crafted.
it's poorly crafted.
Look, maybe the dam, when it broke, it dredged some of the things at the bottom of the lake down as far as the waters had carried it. If this thing came down with that large creature, then, I mean, it suffice to say, it may have ended up somewhere here. Malvola doesn't believe that. You can kind of tell it in his voice, mostly because he thinks it's so big and it's so heavy, it wouldn't have traveled miles. It would have, like, fallen down and been there.
But is there a corpse of a giant nearby that's missing a blade?
Can Rain
Wait, would you-
sniff the air to see if she smells anything dead?
Yeah, actually.
Now that we
Rain,
got our
make
fancy
a
nose.
Rain, make a survival check. Scarlet, make a perception check, because you're like, oh, I wonder if there's a dead person, and you're like, whew.
26.
I do hope that it's something along those lines. Otherwise, this giant has dropped a sword. And usually if I drop a sword, it's not for a good reason.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys are killing it this morning. So Rain, you actually smell of something very pungent. Like, now that you're trying to smell, like, and you've come into this area, you get like a whiff, and it kind of smells like old feet. It's very, very stinky. Scarlet, yeah, Scarlet, you now kind of pick up on it the moment Rain makes a face. You're like, wait, like, I smell something too. So you both kind of have that moment, and Rain, you kind of Scooby-Doo away with your nose. You're like, heading off in a direction, and Scarlet, like, tiptoeing behind you, obviously to avoid the mud, and you head off, and then where the group is, where you head off, you start to become like smaller and smaller into the distance from where the group is, and you now come to a clearing, and you kind of look around, and there's a tree down, and there's like a downed tree, and there's another downed tree kind of making an L or a V shape. You look through the mud, you don't see anything, because at first you're like, maybe this, like what's going on here? You start to look through the mud. Your nose leads you to a very large sack. You open the sack up, and it reeks. And it smells like stinky gym sock feet and a rotten egg.
And just to be clear, I jumped on Rain's back to avoid the mud, and I'm like hung on to her.
You're just like, yeah, like hanging onto Rain. And this reeks. You push it down, and you look back in, and by sack I mean, like, this would be for a normal person, it would be a sack. You look back in, and you see it curdled, probably it looks like almost cheese, or like a cottage cheese, and it's just very stinky. Something was probably here, and this was like left here by accident. Yeah, it has a drawstring. Like, you could open it and close the sack with a drawstring.
Well, I think we're getting closer to somebody or something who's dropping things as they go along. Oh.
Do you think that they just left these things, or maybe when the flood happened, they got caught up in it?
I'm unfortunately going to take the first option. Also,
Wait,
these trees, are they pointing in a direction by any chance? If they're in an L shape?
Yeah. So as you kind of like look around and you take the moment, you look, Cecilia, you kind of start to do your investigative thing and start to pinpoint specifics.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking for like something to clue in on, and you realize that you come over to the seats and you could see that they were well worn, as if someone's multiple figures were sitting on them. And this was probably a camp. Now when I say trees, these aren't like just small little branches, these are like trees, like have been uprooted.
Unfortunately, we're looking for more than one, and they are moving. They're alive, not washed up.
Okay, so just to be kind of the voices, some different reason here. So two massive creatures, right, that move through this place, saw something that got themselves to drop one of their weapons and a bag of cheese. I mean, are we sure we want to be going in this direction? I mean, just putting this out there.
I don't think we should either, but we should keep an eye out and make sure that we don't get killed.
I like this idea. We keep on the road and we just maybe, have Dugan gonna spin these wheels a little quicker, eh?
But this is so closer to Sandpoint. What if it actually hurts some innocent traveler or something? Or I don't know,
I'm not saying we should go investigate. I'm saying maybe we should send Kalodi investigate first.
Okay, but I just yeah, okay, I'll go. You watch as Kalodi sort of jumps off the wagon and he sort of sinks up to his shins in the mud. And he says, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll look and I'll see if we can find some footprints or whatever. We'll see what we can find. Okay. If I see anything, I'll give you guys a yell. If you hear an explosion, okay, you come help me. Okay. Don't let me die. Okay. You run. Yeah. Okay. Don't. Yeah. Kalodi then sort of like as he's moving, moves through there. Malvola, by the way, hasn't left the wagon. Everything is wet and muddy, and he's just not. Yeah, I'm gonna head ahead and search around.
Oh, sure. So like I said, it's late in the afternoon. You have been traveling. Please make a perception check. All right, Kalodi. Kalodi doing the most. I was gonna give Kalodi a jinx point, but Kalodi didn't need it.
No, give me the jinx point. That'll be the most useful thing Kalodi did with that check. It was to take a freaking jinx point off you.
As Kalodi kind of marches out, the group kind of heads back to the wagon, right? Because now you're like, okay, let's follow the wagon that's been moving. And you guys clear a good amount of space and you're following. Kalodi's been marching next to the trail, but like heading the way the group was going. Chloe's been out for about 15, maybe 20 minutes at this point, and Kalodi gets blindsided. Actually, I'm going to, Kalodi just gets blindsided, and I need Kalodi to roll 3d6.
Oh yeah. Take that. 13.
You take 13 points of damage, Kalodi, as a massive object just slams into you. You fall head over heels into the mud. You turn your robo head around, and you can just see now running off, following the way it came at you, is a steer. A big old cow.
A steer?
As it runs off, like a cow, big old cow, male cow. They have antlers, not antlers, horns. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I
I
just
have
wanted to make sure
antlers.
I heard you right, that I just got,
Yeah.
like, freaking, like, head checked by a giant cow.
Yes.
Territorial cow.
As it runs off, you can hear bells ringing and voices and commotions, and now you see a group of humans running towards you, and they seem to be running towards the steer in that general direction. One of them kind of reaches up to you and bends down, grabs you, and kind of lifts you out the mud and says, "Boy, what you doing out here? What are you okay?"
I'm okay. That freaking cow came out of nowhere.
There's the other three men kind of run up, and the older one holding you up kind of flags them on, doing the motion to like keep going. And he's like, "All right, well, if you're okay, I'm sorry about that."
What's going on? What's going on here? You know, you can't just throw a cow at me and then say, "Oh, you good man," and then run off.
He's like, "Well, all right. Something came tramping through our farms, and the cows got out. So we're chasing them. You want to? I'm sorry. Are you by yourself? What are you doing?" And now realize, like, it starts to dawn on him that Clody isn't a person, but a object that's talking. He's like, "Wait."
Yeah. Just hey, look, you stay right here. Hey, guys, I think I found something.
What?
It's a smelly peasant. He's got a cow.
A cow?
Yeah, he's got a violent ass cow.
This
I-
better
I
be
don't-
an
I don't
actual
think-
cow.
It's an actual cow, right? This ain't some kind of robo cow or giant monster dragon cow or.
Nope. Just I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a cow.
Yeah, it's
Who-
a cow.
And then you could hear, like, now he's confused. He's like, "There are people out there."
I mean, yeah, there are people out here. I mean, this is the outside. What do you expect? Of course, there's people out here.
It's like, what? He's just kind of dumbfounded at what's going on. He's like, "All right, well."
Listen, buddy, this is literally the wilderness, okay? There are people, there are plants, there are animals, there's birds. You know, what's wrong with you?
Like, I'm sorry. Where's my manners? I apologize. I have to go catch that cow. If you keep down this road, you're gonna hit a small little town. We set up shop there not too long ago.
Whoa, buddy, listen. We got ourselves a bovinified cow expert, okay? We got someone who is a true druid, in fact, master of the lands and the animals and whatnots. We can help you out, right? Just hang tight. Hey, Rain!
What?
You good with
Rain kind of-
cows?
Why?
Well, there's a
Why
cow.
do you think I'm good with cows?
Well, I wasn't saying you were. I just asked if you were.
They're
Sorry,
two
wait.
different animals.
I asked if you were.
Rain emerges out. What is it? Shaking off some of the extra leaves and whatnot into this clearing. Where is this supposed cow?
Does this guy react to Rain?
Yeah, just mouth agape, not saying anything, just in shock.
This is rude.
Yeah, fairly rude.
I follow behind Rain, but really like slinky, like a house cat.
No one
now,
will
like,
ever notice you.
yeah. Are you trying to be noticed, Cecilia, or are you trying to just not be noticed?
I'm just following behind.
Oh, you're just
Rain.
following. Okay,
I'm
cool. Because I was
thinking
gonna
about the
like.
cow. But I feel like
Okay.
if Rain comes through and then Cecilia does, that's a very weird combo.
Yeah.
Marvel is definitely staying in the wagon while it's so muddy out.
The farmer now, like, seeing Cecilia kind of come forward and Rain and Puppet go, it's like, huh. Well, I've always heard about circuses. I guess one's coming through town.
Hey,
this
whoa
Oh.
there, buddy. Listen,
Wow.
we're offering to help, okay? You watch your mouth. I'm gonna smack the taste out of it, okay? Now this here is Rain. Rain here is going to help you with your little cow problem, okay? So what do you say?
I appreciate it.
That's right. That's you right. That's right. You do. I look around and see if I can find the cow.
You could see that the other farmers have kind of created so the 3 other farmers have created a small kind of like circle around this cow, and it's just acting like the cow is terrified, right? First off, and the farmers are trying to like just assault the cow.
Sorry.
Rain, seeing this, will kind of run up behind. No, don't hurt it. What are you doing? Good grief.
And just behind you, I come in with my whip.
Your leather whip.
Say, hey, maybe
I just put a paw on Scarlett's hand, and I just lower the whip.
It's like, what
No.
in all of the gods? So which, and then he kind of looks at Cecilia. The farmer looks at Cecilia and says, listen, I'd appreciate any help. I know you have the power of the wilds behind you. I'd appreciate you if you could work some of your magic on my cow Betsy.
Firstly, no, wrong person. Secondly, you named a male cow Betsy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Betsy the 15th.
No, I have no more questions. Rain, this is the person who's the wildlife expert.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make it. I apologize. So you are the cow folk talker. The cow talker?
Yes, I'm the cow talker. How
Mhm.
can I help you with talking to your cows?
Could you explain to Betsy that we meant no harm to him and that whatever came through and ruined the farms, this isn't like before with all the water. It's safe and we got to bring them home.
Okay. Right. You know what, let me just also help a little bit. I'm Rain. You can call me Rain from now on.
Rain, he said,
Yes.
and he holds out his hand and he says, Jebediah.
Nice to meet you, Jebediah. Thank you.
oh, like the ogre that we met.
It's a popular name. Rain will
It's a weird family name.
approach the steer and kind of sit down in the grass across from it,
hmm
meeting it more at eye level. Hey, come here. I don't actually have to speak cow, do I?
No, he doesn't understand what a druid is. Like it's all magic to him, so he assumes you're gonna just like you could, because you're a druid, you could speak to animals. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay. I just didn't want to have to start mooing.
oh
I
no,
just-
like
I just want to whisper to AJ with my whip in hand. Should I put this away or?
Yes, I don't think the whips come in handy at any point.
Okay. Look
Maybe
at her
save
go.
it for the enemies you want to tie up. Yes.
No. Look at Rain. She's a natural.
Come here. Come here. It's okay. I know. I'm Rain. Yes, and this is my crew. We're wandering through. Are you also wandering? Yes? Okay. Listen, Jebediah over there, he mentioned your name is Betsy. Is that Bessie?
Betsy the
No.
15.
No, that's not your name. That's the name he gave you. I see. Does this
Now I'm
steer
so
have a
much more
preferred
intrigued.
name?
does the steer have a preferred name? Yeah, I would
Klaus.
I would assume it would. It's been fairly angry, and let's give it a nice animal name.
It's all interpretive. It's like the one that crunches the grass.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with
Yes.
that. Thank you, AJ.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
The one who crunches the grass. Okay. Oh, no, I hear you. I hear you. No, it's very important to be seen and called by your own name. I get that. I get that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I imagine you would be very upset. I wouldn't listen either if it wasn't my name. I get it. I get it. I mean, as you can tell, like he thought I was a cow, but you know I'm not a cow. Thank you. Thank you. It's frustrating not to be understood for what you are. Thank you. You know, I never get to talk to anyone about this. It's really nice to have someone who just sees you eye to eye as she looks eye to eye in this field. The cow. Tell me, did something come through your territory lately? Oh, yeah, no, I noticed you were out wandering. Did you happen to get a glance at what it was? I'm sure it was terrifying, but we were hoping to track it down a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. I know it's scary, but if any words that you could give us.
So the cow at that point is but by the way, before we go on, I would like to give a hero point to Becca because that's amazing role play. She just role played with cow sounds that we were throwing at her.
Cows.
That's amazing.
Cows have the prettiest eyes. They've got long, beautiful lashes. Go make eye contact with a cow today.
Actually, if I can recommend anything, right, to anyone today, is go look up videos of cows listening to music. There is nothing more wholesome and nothing more delightful than watching a paddock full of cows just listening to someone playing music.
Oh, I'm totally gonna do that now.
There we go.
But,
there's our afternoon plans.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm mind blown. That was amazing. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
So as Rain kind of starts to reach out and talk to this cow using her druidic powers, and what everyone notices outside of what Rain is doing, Rain isn't speaking a natural language. She's using the druidic language, which is unknown to everyone else. So it's a different language. So as you continue to talk to the cow, the one who crunches grass, says basically through your conversation, it's been about 10-15 minutes. You're able to walk over, and as you walk over with the cow, you bring it over to Jebediah, and Jebediah puts a lasso around it, like to walk it, not like to harm it, but and he says, thank you very much, ma'am. If your group is not doing anything, I would like to invite you over for supper. We would rather have you come over for dinner and relax, and we would try to repay you with what we have. But thank you very much for everything you've done.
Oh no, it was no problem, and he has a name, by the way. What was the one who crunches on grass?
One who crunches on grass.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. We will name one who crunches on grass.
Yes.
That is their proper name, if that's the name. Well,
yes.
So all that you did there, that just comes naturally to you?
Not just to cows. Yeah, it's typically in more rare situations, and some are obviously easier to talk to. And he was an absolute delight. Very good company, by the way.
Been with the family for a long time. We really appreciate having them.
Sure.
Yeah, I wish I knew what came through. A day or two ago, but it was like a storm. It was crazy. This is the second time my family's been displaced. The first was with that flood. I don't know if you noticed. It's been pretty bad out here.
Yes.
So, but yeah, please, I
say-
would invite. I'm sorry,
Did you say
ma'am.
a storm came through?
Some kind of storm. Yeah, I don't. It must have been some kind of storm, knocked over a few other buildings and stuff.
Oh, right.
You guys know there has been zero storms. Like you've been
Yeah,
on the road.
I think
Yeah.
I know that it's giant, and I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. But please come follow us. And he looks over at one of the other farmers or farmhands and says, Micaiah, go tell Ma we're getting everything ready. We're gonna have a few friends over for dinner now. And Jebediah starts to walk with the horse and now starts to prattle on about just like general day stuff. And he seems to like just be talking to whoever will listen. And one who crunches on grass makes eye contact with you, Rain, and just rolls its eyes as if it's like just like, oh, this guy again. But
wait, I'd just like to whisper to Cecilia, are we gonna eat the cow?
No.
Look, I hope so, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Also, aren't you vegan?
No? Why?
Oh, you asked about that this morning. I figured.
I was trying to be polite. It didn't look like anything.
Oh, right.
Nexon didn't leave the wagon, did she? With Dugan and that.
No, she also does not want to get Bud.
Yeah, so I'm imagining that that Nexon and Malvolo are sitting in the wagon, and you watch as Malvolo's like playing with some string, and he's trying to figure out how to do a cat's cradle, and he's like this.
No, you got your ring finger in.
Okay, fair. Just
yeah, there we go. What are they up to?
Chasing cows through the mud, apparently.
Next is just gonna pull out a bit of string and cast message to Rain, and just be like, "What is going on? Are we gonna continue on? Did you find something?"
Oh yes, we found a steer. We're going over to a farmer's house now for dinner.
We've apparently been invited to a farmer's house for dinner.
Have we? I mean,
that's what Rain said. So they found a cow.
Well, did they tell them that they'd have to invite our driver, who would have to go and eat a meal with these people?
Probably not. You got your hands all tied up
yes,
now.
no,
Here.
this is a catastrophe. You keep. I'll figure this out. Just find out what we're doing tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just cast message again to find out where they're going, and then tell Douglas how to get there.
Yeah. So the moment you tell them which way to go, kind of like pulls the cart into the mud and grumbles something about like why do we keep having these like stops. He's just grumbly. And then following up, and at this point the cart kind of comes around, and you the people Marvolo Nexon on the cart see a ramshackle town. It looks like buildings had been hastily put up. Most of them don't have doors. They just kind of have curtains, like where the door would be. Just looks like people just put up tarps over the doors. Some of the houses have roofs. Some of them have, again, just cloths tied down to give them what looked like a roof. And all the wood and stuff seems just waterlogged. Like it came from Turtleback Ferry, and some of these are the farmers that were displaced because of that, and that may be trying to carve out an area. As you come into this area, Nexon and Marvolo, as the cart kind of pulls in, there is a small padded down road, but again, everything's just filled with the sodden mud. It's just hard for people to just hold anything. As you come in, you could actually see a few of the houses seem to have been knocked over, and there seems to be just debris lying every which way. There are kids in the street playing in mud, running around. It's small. It's not even like a real. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 families here, and a bunch of kids. As you come in, you now catch an eye, and you could see the rest of the party kind of following this human male, just rambling on, talking as he's leading a cow. As he leads the cow, he turns to Rain and the group and he says, "All right, well, my house is over that yonder over there." And he kind of points to a house. It's not even like one of the larger ones. Behind it, there seems to have been a fence kind of put up, some rocks to hold the fence in place. And you can see inside there are 2 actual cows. A bunch of chickens seem to be running around. There seems to be some kind of coop, but the chickens are just running free. And he's leading the cow. He says, "Well, why don't you go in there, make yourselves comfortable, let them know that you're here, and we'll have dinner in a little bit." And as you all kind of catch up and you tell the cart, Rain and Cecilia, Scarlet, you and Claudia, you tell the cart like where to pull up on. Rain, you know that the cow did tell you that like the cow basically said they saw, or the steer said they saw what looked like just big people, right? The cow doesn't understand giants, right?
Yeah.
So it just looks like big people ran through and took and start like just kind of came through.
Oh gosh. Oh. Can I see the caravan kind of behind us still?
Yeah, you guys are now
Okay.
caught up. Like that's what
Okay.
you were told. So now you have a few moments to talk.
Can I have like a? And she'll turn to Jebediah. I'm gonna have a quick etiquette meeting with my group, and then we'll be inside just to make sure no one ruins your house, your lovely home. Would that be all right?
Yes, please. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. Everyone, can we just meet in the back of the caravan for a little moment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Done.
Rain will kind of crawl in last, one antler in at a time. So large humans, giants, according to our steer friend, is what happened to come by. I think most of us are pretty aware that a storm did not, but well, giants in the area are not exactly probably good news for the people here.
Did they take anything?
I mean, I don't.
I mean, yes.
get that.
Would a cow know if anything was taken? Yes.
Yeah. Nothing of his of note, I believe. He still has all of his I guess
Grass?
yeah.
Worldly possessions?
You know.
But why would Jebediah lie about it?
Well, I doubt he lied about it. Probably, he just, well, sometimes when
He
they
doesn't
stomp,
know.
it could sound like thunder, yeah. If he
Maybe
doesn't know
that's-
any better.
Well, maybe that is what has happened. Maybe the floods that happened at Turtleback Ferry washed a deluge down here, together with the sounds of the footsteps, the rumblings and thunderous noises of giants moving through the area may easily be mistaken for a storm if all that he saw was the aftermath and all that he heard was the giants.
And are we
Okay.
sure that large people would automatically mean giant and not like, I don't know, ogres or?
Well, ogres
Judging
are
by
I
a
mean,
threat.
either way, I don't think it's
Oh.
good.
I also
Yeah,
think, judging by the sword, given that it's a one-handed weapon and it's 7 feet long, we're dealing with quite a large creature.
Much as I'd like, not eating on the road, I wonder if maybe we should press on, try and get to Sandpoint sooner, or I could at least send a message to somebody.
I
in
think that's
Sandpoint
a
to
good
give them a
idea.
heads up.
And
Yeah.
also potentially let them know that this small town is dealing with something along these lines. It might not
They'll
be the
need
only group
guards.
affected.
Yeah. I mean, Jebediah clearly not able to even handle his own steer. I don't think he would be able to will handle anything greater. Him and his poor family. Plus, they were just displaced. They probably don't have a whole lot in terms of defenses. They're probably just trying to survive at this point.
Well, perhaps it might be worthwhile asking Jebediah and his family to relocate to Sandpoint until perhaps this giant thing blows over.
Yeah, but after we have had the free meal, they probably it would be probably rude to refuse, right?
I mean, that's not wrong. It's
But I think
typically appropriate.
yes, but I think that our matters are a little bit more pressing than acquiring a meal. I think getting on the road, at least for the time being, may be for the best. Though, of course, I'm sure we will have an ample opportunity to revisit this farmstead and the people here.
Well, then you can tell him if you're willing to be so rude.
Yeah.
I have no issue. Malvolo
Okay,
gets off the wagon and approaches. As he knocks on the door, he says, hello?
So you push back the curtain that is in place of the door. So you kind of like knocked on the door
I'll
frame.
knock on the door frame, yeah.
Yeah. So you walk, as you say hello, you pop your head in, and inside you could see Jebediah, the other 3 farmhands that were working with him, a human woman, and 2 other smaller kids. There's like 2 kids just running around. And he says, "Oh, you must be with the group. How? Please come in. We're gonna get some chickens and stuff ready."
Oh, thank you. It was, of course, very generous of you to offer, but I'm afraid that our traveling companions and I cannot stay for a meal. But I did want to have a brief word with you about the incidents that have led to the, current state of this farm.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that there is something at work that is not quite natural to the environment here that may have possibly led to the land becoming sodden and perhaps a bit more dangerous than your family and, your farmhands may be able to deal with. After speaking with the others, we think that perhaps it might be worth you considering a temporary measure of moving to Sandpoint for the time being. Sort of a blessing in disguise, if you will, having your homes currently uplifted.
Oh, so you want us to move to Sands Point? Well, I'm not one of those big city folk. I don't think I could handle it over there. We've been farmers. My poppy's been a farmer. His poppy's been a farmer all the way back to my great grandpappy when he won our farm from a card game, and then we started being farmers.
Well, farmer though you may be, until the land dries from the current situation that it is, it will not be workable for you to be able to farm. All that would be...
If I may say so, in the city there are plenty of people who I'm sure would love to hear your stories and every little task that you do every day.
Well, I have always been pretty good at spinning yarn. Let me. I could tell you about this time. Oh,
No, but you could tell the city folk that actually they would love to hear a farmer tell them about their stories. You would be the star. You would animate every evening. It's gonna be great. It's just for a while.
He kind of looks around and makes eye contact with Marvolo, or where Marvolo's eye lenses are on the mask, and he's like, "Well, do you think this is true? Do you think we should head over there and I mean, you're telling me that there's going to be more storms that come through this area, and you feel that maybe we head over to the city
At
and
least
be a little
you would
safer?
be safer in the event that the storms were to occur. I mean, of course, we're thinking about the safety of your family and your young ones.
And think of the stories.
And the stories.
That is true. I could spin a yarn.
But, as I previously mentioned, we are in a bit of a rush. But with any hope we may see you in Sandpoint, after which point perhaps then we may be able to share a meal to get together.
Mm.
In the meantime,
Fair
however,
enough. I do feel bad. I do feel bad for using your druid without paying it back. So why don't you? You know what? I understand you have to go. Big city folk always in a hurry. So why don't I? You know what? Why don't you wait here one moment? And he kind of heads off into the back, and then he comes out with 2 chickens in his hand, and he says, "Why don't you take these?" And he gives them to you, Marvolo. And they are alive, and they are upside down, being very upset.
I look at Scarlet.
I take a step back.
He says, "Please take these. This is the most I could give you right now. We don't have much money, like I said, but we'll definitely take into consideration. I'll talk to the other families about moving and how it'd be safer. But please take these with the generosity of my heart. I apologize for anything. It's been, well, like I said, we don't really get many folks out this far.
Your kindness is too much. I whistle for Kalodi to come up, and he'll walk in, and he'll take the chickens, and then just sort of like
he just as Kalodi kind of like inserts the chickens into his body. The farmer is just looking
live
at
chickens in
now.
now?
Yep.
Okay.
2 live chickens,
like
a
a
pile of
pony?
acorns, and a spear.
Yes. They you could hear them scratching around on the inside, like audibly hear them. And Jebediah looks and he says, "I'll never get used to you city folk, but your ways are strange, but you're good folk. And I'm sorry I don't have anything else for you."
No, this is more than enough. Please, blessings to you and your family. We will hopefully see you again in the future. Come,
You too.
Kalodi.
As you get back, the rest of the group has kind of started piling back on. Douglas is grumbling that now he has to move the cart again and get back onto the road. And he's just grumbling about this. And then he's taking like a slip from his flask and grumbling as the party kind of gets back onto the road. And you can hear something scratching and clucking around inside Kalodi, for those of you in the caravan. As the caravan goes out from the town and heads off onto the sodden lands, you're traveling for another few hours until night falls and it starts to cool off. At that point, you all plan to make camp. Are you guys going to eat the chickens or set them free?
I think Cecilia would eat them.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. You can eat the chickens. I mean, it's not too much work to de-chicken a chicken.
I'm gonna go for a walk for a bit. I understand it has to happen, and I get it. Just be quick about it, okay? Just
You turn back and they're already like depulucked.
She's like plucking.
You just like it's like 10 seconds and Cecilia's already defeathered them and everything.
And I'm gonna
Nexon's
say,
gonna
just let me
pull
know
a
when they
couple
don't. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Nexon's gonna gather up a couple of the like nicer looking feathers and just kind of tuck them into a bag.
I'm just gonna say, let me know when they don't look like live chickens anymore and just like food. I'll be right back.
As you kind of settle in for the evening, to get the best sleep you can on a muddy road, Cecilia's now kind of got like a little spit going.
Yeah, I've glazed the chicken in like maple, like honey of some kind that I found, and some of the whiskey from the
That sounds delicious.
Oh wait,
by the way,
maybe this is in the back of my mind, but didn't I have a bunch of bees as well in Malvolo?
Yeah, Kalodi had a beehive in them.
Yeah, that's right. So you've got some honey.
Yeah.
It's like a honey whiskey glaze.
Yeah.
Nice
sounds
and peppery.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Dag, I have a question. Is there a bag of holding inside of Kolodi, kind of on a
Yeah.
spell? No?
Usually how
A
it
lot of
works.
Collodi's compartments are collapsible, so he's
Mhm.
got like sections that he can cordon off or then collapse into a larger chamber. If fundamentally though he is hollow, so he's got like a kind of a wired frame, and his central bit can probably fit like yeah. I mean at the moment he's got like the collapsible spear in his chest, the beehive. I think he would have used his like where his intestines would have been where he would have chucked the chickens at least temporarily.
So how many like what is the ratio of live chickens that he could
Okay,
contain?
if he was empty, I'd say he could hold 6 chickens.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Give,
about
give
Wow.
or take about 6.
yeah. That I mean they'd be standing on top of each other, right? They wouldn't be comfortable. Uh,
Chicken.
yeah, and if Collodi got into a fight, they'd be battered hens.
Mm-hmm. What a bump. So as the group kind of tucks in for the evening, getting ready to go on a very long trip. Not very long, but like another. You've been on the road. You literally just traveled for about 35 miles. You got another 35 for tomorrow, maybe 40. You'll push it a little bit. So you know you have an early day tomorrow. We will take a quick break at this point and go to night. Just thank you very much for all the donations. Thank you very much for everyone being here. And please stick around. There will be more cows. There will be more chickens. That's why we play tabletops, farming simulator. Go. Doo-doo. Hi everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. Very fast recap. The party adventuring down, heading originally they were heading to Magnamar because they didn't know exactly where they were going. They wanted to touch base with home. And we all decided to play musical chairs very quickly. What you didn't know is we're actually in the same studio. This is all a joke. Like our AJ being from Australia and Michael down in Australia and Ari from France. No, we actually are all together. And that's why we sat in different chairs on stream. But yeah, so we we quick sorry, I'm watching the stream happen. It's awesome. I love it.
I had no
So-
idea who
Stay
moved.
this way.
Yeah, it was we do this just to be a jerk to Michael when he runs the stream. But like, hey, musical chairs, go, and then we all change
Yeah.
chairs. So the party quickly decided that they were heading to Magmar to figure out exactly what was going on, and now that they actually received, well, Nexon received a letter from saying, hey, everything's been kind of taken care of. You could come back. We don't really have to, you don't have to worry. It was from Cassandra. And they were like, cool, we should go back. Cecilia kind of found out that they're stuck here and no one has a way back. And Cecilia was like, it messed with Cecilia's head a little bit. So Marvolo made the suggestion that maybe they go see Thistletop, which actually had one of the first Runelord areas that they were able to uncover, and that is where they're on. It's morning time. We had delicious chicken created by Cecilia that I think was delicious, and the party is now halfway there. It's been an early morning. Scarlett took her hour facial routine. Gotta keep the skin looking good, and everyone is kind of in a weird mood because you're entering that point where Cecilia is about to see some truth about what's going on in their world. As you kind of come up, it's now gotten a little warmer where your location is. It's you can hear and see seagulls. The roads have dried up at this point, and now you're able to actually start getting like a good move on. You're heading upwards around the town of Sandpoint. You're not going directly in. As you go through the farm areas, every so often you'll see farmers walking on the roads, and they will actually wave to like Rain and Nexon and Marvolo. They know you guys. You guys saved them a bunch. So you're heroes. Like some of them actually run up and give you food, talk to you, run next to the thing. And it's very strange because Scarlett and Cecilia, this is the first time you're all being like welcomed. Like it's strange. You're being welcomed. People are asking questions on Rain, like, oh, how's it going? Where have you been? What's going on? Oh, we spoke to Ruby. Remember Ruby way back in the day, from the town. And even Marvolo is being like greeted warmly, and this is like very strange because Marvolo did help save some of those townsfolk. You kind of make your way up the coast at this point, and now on the horizon you do see out in the water, because you're up on the water at this point, the coastline, Scarlett and Cecilia. You see what looks like a statue. It's kind of like toppled over. It's half submerged, has a human face that's been worn away by the oceans, and across from it is this big old rickety bridge. And as Marvolo and Rain and Nexon, you see this waves of memories and realizing like how dangerous that bridge was, kind of flood back how there was the underground waterway. as you kind of come up to the outer fortress, right? Remember, there was a two parts. You had to clear through the forest with all the bramble, and then hence the name Thistletop, and then to the actual main fort that was set up on this like human skull. You notice that actually much of the bramble has been cleared away. It looks like the Shalelu and her small force. Remember, she was looking for the bugbear, and like they've cleared away this area. Probably the guards had come up here to clear out and to get rid of the bodies that you had to deal with in such a manner. So you're actually able to make it through without dealing with a lot of that bramble on foot. Douglas is kind of just hanging out in a cart, grumbling and drinking whiskey. And now the group kind of comes to that bridge, and that's where we zoom in. You're standing at this, Cecilia and Scarlet. You're standing at this very rickety bridge.
Is this safe?
Are we supposed to cross that?
I mean, yeah, we are supposed to cross it. It's not a favorite thing of ours.
Lodi?
Cautious.
Yeah. No, I know. It's fine. Actually, at this point, Malvolo will actually put his hand on Collodion. Will actually be the one to go first. As Malvolo walks, he walks with a certain level of confidence, almost as if he knows every like sort of weak plank along this bridge, as if he knows the strength of the rope. He knows this because when we had trapped Krut here, it was Malvolo who had repaired this bridge. So much so that he, is confident as he walks.
I will follow after.
As you all cross the bridge following Marvolo, it sways gently in the breeze. As you kind of make your way onto the opposite end, again, much of it has been cleared out by the town guards that you sent up later. Everyone's rune has started to glow a little bit faintly on their body, as if there is an energy still coming from within. Marvolo, you get up to the door, and remember, it was that big door. You reach out for the handle and you pull it open, and what once originally greeted you with a horrendous smell, now there is no smell. The marks of combat still all over the area, but as you enter the hard packed floor, memories kind of rush back. You know your path and you know how to go. The party quietly makes their way through this fortress, this keep. Every so often pointing something out, but quietly making their way, remembering the runes that the goblins accidentally set off in the hallway where they exploded. You follow along, and as you traverse, you now find a staircase that leads down through what was once probably a secret door. Heading down deeper, everyone's runes start to glow a little bit more, and now the runes start to change. Instead of being this makeshift fortress, it becomes more of a temple as you go deeper into this area. As you start to look around, you start to see the carvings of ancient Thessalonian hieroglyphs in the walls. Continue forward, and now there's a wave of energy that you kind of walk into. Cecilia and Scarlet, please make a will save. As you walk into this energy, Rain, Nexon, and Marvolo, you know you've dealt with this energy before. You've steadied yourself and made ready. But this is the first time Scarlet and Cecilia have dealt with this. As you walk in, a wave of rage comes upon you. And for a second, it is just blind madness and fury. You take a second to steady yourselves on your feet as you just are hit with uncontrollable rage. Not anger, it's just rage. You take a moment, you brace, you hold yourselves, a hand on your shoulder, Cecilia. You kind of grab it and it's Rain's on hand. Nexon, you kind of squeeze Scarlet's hand, holding her and steadying her. And you kind of both snap out of it. And you just feel strange in this area. Marvolo kind of nods to the group and starts to lead you deeper into this temple. As you move, the rage subsides and you keep going forward. And now you come to a very sad area. It's the first time the group has been back since they originally lost Krut. And there Marvolo stands in front and turns to the group.
As Malvolo arrives, he walks over to what looks to be a large wall. The wall depicts riches and jewels, treasures and piles of gold set into the stone wall. He walks over and places a hand atop the wall, and he says, "It was here. This was where we lost one of the people who had come through the portals. His name was Krut. And like you, he was not brought here of his own volition. He fought in the rage pits in Zin Bakragan. And at the time, I'll admit that I was a little bit skeptical, believing him to be little more than a beast. But he was probably the least well-adjusted of us. When we came here, we thought that we had simply been spared the fate of Thassalon, that in our ancient past we had been spared the death that fell upon each of our kingdoms. But as time went on, we learnt that something else was at play. Something else connected us. And while, of course, we believe it to be whatever is happening with the giants and the runes, there is something else that you need to know. The runes that bind us are more than just our identities. And I'm gonna bang on the stone, just firmly and hard.
As you bang on the stone of the wall, it kind of resonates with everyone, and everyone's rune kind of flares a little bit. as if it's reacting to Morvolo.
I'll bang again. Basically, I'm trying to let the person on the other side hear us, as it were.
As you bang a second time, there's a scraping sound that you can hear coming from behind the wall, and the roar and just a low guttural, like, anger sound, and then finally does a large boom as something solid hits the wall and dust kind of shakes off of the ceiling.
What?
What is happening?
The beast on the other side of this wall represented the Rune of Rage. And once we were here, amidst the battle with Nualia, he transformed. His body, his mind, barely anything remaining. He was consumed by the sin he bore. And this is all that is left.
Of your friend? Is it what's gonna happen to Cecilia?
I'm not sure. I don't know if this is something that's going to happen to all of us. When we were investigating the serial killers, and we learnt of the place of undeath, our friend Cassandra, who brandished the symbol of gluttony and the energies of necromancy, her bones and body began to wither, more so than her usual, to a point where, well, it was hard to tell if she was alive or not. Though, unlike Crutch, she never lost her mind. We always knew that, I guess, never really spoke about, that we were all at risk, and something may come for us in a similar fashion.
I mean, there's a chance we'll be fine.
Or we're all cursed and we're all gonna turn into monsters.
Well, I think we kind of prevented, or at least delayed, that happening to Cecilia. That seemed to be what was going on.
The feelings that overcame me when I went to that throne, needing to be better than you all, needing power, needing status. It reminds me of my hometown, of my life. Pride. So you all stopped me from whatever fate was awaiting me, but you're telling me that we walked into that without telling us that could have happened? Because we've only recently formed trust, and
until it happened to you, there was no evidence that that was going to happen. We had only recently had Cassandra dealing with the issues that she had undergone, but it wasn't until we saw, well, at least until I saw you on the mountain and saw what happened and became of you, that, well, the evidence now stacks in this favor. And I want to earn your trust. I want to keep your trust. And for that, I brought you here. Because this
you have my trust.
Well, thank you. I have not given up on...
I understand not jumping to conclusions before you have enough evidence, but if that is what happened to your friend Krut, I can tell you right now that most certainly almost happened to me. My mind was not my own, and if I hadn't been able to reach out to Rain and to the rest of you, I would have been lost, and I potentially would have tried to kill you all.
We would have killed you first, don't worry. And talking about that, if that ever happens to me, kill me first too. I don't want to become like this. But is there any way that we can save Krut, or is it lost forever?
I've spent many days and nights working and trying to figure out things. Magic behaves very similarly to mechanics, and I think I'm onto something, but it's power that I do not know how to wield.
Can I ask something that might be a very controversial question here? Since we arrived, I was under the assumption, and potentially falsely, that we were here by benevolent means to help. What if we weren't? What if we were brought to become these monsters?
I don't think you're wrong there, unfortunately, but maybe this is something that two forces happen to coincide, and well, we get to make part of that choice.
I don't think so. I think this makes a lot of sense. Sadly. Maybe we should
see how someone can uproot your life, take you to somewhere you do not belong, and then have these circumstances happen again and again. If that is true, then there are runes out there for all of us, which means this is definitely not over, and no wonder I'm not back home or dead or cursed.
Well, I mean, you're probably not wrong, but we really just don't know enough. We've just
Should we instead find a way to get rid of our runes and try to get back to where we belong?
I mean, they don't wash off, they don't burn away.
Have you tried?
They don't cut themselves off. They heal over those scars.
Damn it.
We can
So we're
certainly
stuck.
look into it, but I just personally believe that we're here for a reason, and I don't know if that fate is necessarily good or bad. Probably just depends on whose perspective you're looking at it from.
Here's my 2 cents on the matter. If we are brought here by some evil reasons, then I refuse to participate. I will hunt down every rune that exists, and I will stop this madness before it overcomes more people. Think of all the innocents that have been involved in just these 3 runes alone, let alone the next 4.
Well, I mean, not to drive the matter lightly, but I'm not exactly worried about if my rune goes berserk. I feel like all I will do is finally have that long nap that I've been striving for. But
I don't think you realize what a cursed sloth could be to others. You could entirely make a village, a world fall asleep. You could keep everyone in a comatose state for the rest of their being.
I know.
But if we're driven to destroy other runes and help people, maybe the runes that we have are here to motivate us, to make sure that we have no choice but to help and to stay together.
I think I have to
think
look
we're
at it
certainly
that way.
learning. I mean, what happened to Krut didn't happen to you, Cecilia. So,
What was Krut like?
He was
Quiet, but sweet.
he
Krut
was
did a lot
bold.
for. He was. He wouldn't have hair anyway. He had more of a scaly complexion to him.
Oh,
Makes it seem. No.
I thought you meant personality. I didn't realize we were talking about the head of his hair.
yeah. That's why I asked too, but I didn't realize he wasn't human. I was picturing a human, so.
No,
he was very. No, it's fine. Go ahead. It's fine.
He was a mighty lizard folk, and he had a strong sense of protecting that which he viewed as his, whether that was his friends, his beliefs, his sandwich. He would fight to the death to keep and protect these things. In a way, though I were terrified of him, it was one of the things that I think made me like his company so much.
May I ask a question?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, in fact, it was Rain that opened my eyes to this. When he first came through the portal, I'm not ashamed to say that I hid and ran, but Rain, well, you saw Krut as a lost traveler.
Mm-hmm. I did.
These runes, I understand mine. I understand the world that I come from, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that pride overcomes me occasionally. Scarlet, I can read like the back of my hand. She's clearly what she is, but Rain and Nexon, I do not understand yours.
You know, these are really hard to figure out anyway. Who even decides how to assign these stupid things and why we were chosen for them? That just probably not worth looking into.
Malvolo will sidle up to Rain and will actually take off his glove and will hold Rain's hand if she'll let him.
Like to
like a comfort, like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Rain, you seem really nervous. You want a hand massage?
That's okay. Well, maybe a little.
Say less.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just grab your hand and start massaging.
Rain, my job where I come from is observing people and weeding out when people aren't telling the truth. If you want my trust, I want to understand why you feel uncomfortable right now.
I am happier here and how things are. So looking into these things, it's not of interest to me. I'd rather just focus on resolving things as they come about. That's where I feel comfortable right now. And you kind of see Rain shrinking a little bit more into the corner, as much as a moose can.
Nexon, how about yourself?
I mean, I guess a lot of mine's a lot more internal. You know, I've got my lot in life, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm pleased with it. You know, I grew up where everybody was always, wanted what they didn't have and envious of what others had.
Right. All right. Well, this is good to know, because if we do come across runes further than this, I want to be prepared for what that could do to people. Lust, pride, wrath, I understand those. I understand how that could affect someone. The others, I don't. I don't know what is ahead of us. And usually, I'm quite good at predicting those things. It's what I do. So, this is all new for me, and I am willing to understand that I'm here for a long time, clearly. And from there, We shall stick together and help others. That's the best I can ask for right now.
Yeah, let's focus on helping others. When we see these things, we can at least manage that pretty well. I'd be happier with that.
I'm not asking for you to be sent back to where you came from, Rain.
Right.
I hope you know that.
No, I know. I know this is not an ideal situation where everybody shows up here, but I'm grateful we're all here.
I'm grateful I met you, but since I arrived here a few weeks ago, I have done nothing but be in battles and around monsters and around very dark things. And I'm quite used to the comfort of my own library. So this is new.
Well, you're gonna love Sandpoint. It's they don't have a lot of books there, but it's a nice town, and it's worth calling home. There's some of the nicest people you'll meet there.
Thank you, Marvola, for taking me here.
Malvolo finds it difficult to say anything. He nods. In a similar way that you'd seen before, Collodi has gone almost completely quiet. His body kind of just... Jesus Christ, my cat just scared the crap out of me. Oh, I'm too old for that shit. Hi, kitten. Okay. Oh, because for those of you who don't know, it's midnight here, so doors shouldn't be swinging open. All right. Yeah, so
I thought that was a sound effect. It was so loud.
It wasn't a sound effect. That was just a cat. Anyway, I forgot my train of thought. Yeah, so Collodi is again just in a mannequin pose. He's not expressive. He's not doing anything. Malvolo walks over to the wall, behind which is of course Crut. He places his hand once again on the wall and just whispers something in ancient Thessalonian, something that I don't think we've really, like, we all know, but we haven't really spoken. And I basically just say a prayer to Lysala, who is the ancient god of the Thessalonians, to watch over this ancient place and to give Crut the strength that he needs to hold on until we can help.
At the moment of the prayer ending, there is a massive boom on the wall, Marvolo. Like something just slammed into it. Dust kind of, again, shakes loose, and everyone's runes flare a little bit.
All right. Well, let us tarry no further. Shall we?
Yeah, I think we've overstayed our welcome.
Just for clarification, so you think there'd still be a chance to save Crut, right?
I do.
Then, in that case, I would like to reiterate my previous statement. If I ever become like Crut, please save me, and please, you can use all my jewels and sell them to use as money, as a grant to fund your research, so that it speeds up the process. But only for me.
Please take this as the largest compliment in the world, Scarlet, but if you get taken over by whatever becomes of you inside, I don't think I ever want to see it.
Okay, great. Wait, I'll take that as a compliment. Okay.
As the group kind of heads back up, traveling the path that you just took, you're able to quickly find your way out. You come upstairs, you see the bridge, rickety, but still holding fast as Marvolo had put it back together again. You come across the bridge and you make your way through the thorns and the keep, and you're now on the opposite end. And for a moment in the distance, Rain, you see a horse, and it kind of makes eye contact with you and then takes off into the woods.
Do I recognize this horse?
Yes, it was definitely the horse you saved many moons ago when you were able to get the horse out of the pen that was up that way.
Yeah.
So, as you come across and you make your way back to the cart, you see Douglas just sitting there, grumbly and reeking of whiskey at this point. Everyone kind of hops back into the cart, and you start to make your way down the coastline, heading towards Sandpoint. As you do, you actually see something that you were not expecting. There is a small gathering of people at the head of the road, right before the gates of Sandpoint. As the cart kind of comes in, a friendly face of Father Xantus and Mayor Dervin see and wave to you as the cart kind of comes in. Sadly, there is no Sheriff Baylor. As you make your way into the town, you now see the little crowd, maybe 15, 20 people have gathered there, and starts to part, and out steps Miko, looking at the party, and she kind of waves, standing with the three people. And as you pull up, the mayor, she steps forward and she says, "I'm glad to see everyone's made it back. Your friend Cassandra had been here for quite some time, told us about your exploits in Magnamar and how you helped the city's police there. So you're more than welcome to come back. I believe Sheriff Baylor cleared Marvolo of all charges. And yeah, we're just really excited to have our heroes back. I see you've gotten a few new members, and at this point, Douglas is like, yeah, I've made my way back with this group. And you can see he's trying to like talk with the group, and he like leans forward and he's just like, so does this come with a discount at the bar? And Amiko's like looks at you, Nexon, and is just like, what?
Thank you so much, Douglas, for helping us get here. But excuse me.
Yes,
Oh no!
Bless you. It's pollen season.
She's allergic to
Oh,
whiskey.
the allergies here in Sandpoint. But I think it's time for us to split ways.
Oh, we had so much fun. Remember the mud and the yeah. Well, I could drive the cart into where are we going? And
I hand him a
Nexon's just
bottle
gonna
of
lean
whiskey.
in.
he takes the whiskey and starts to drink it.
Well, I was gonna be like a parting gift, but it's the whiskey I stole last night to like marinate the chicken, so it's his whiskey.
But he doesn't realize it. He's
Yeah,
just
perfect.
drinking. He's like, oh,
Jackson's gonna lean into him and just whisper and be like, unless you're gonna want to like fight things like stone giants and trolls, ogres, all that stuff, I think it might be best to part ways.
it's like, that, you know what? I think you might be right. I gotta take this cart. So I gotta reshoe these horses. I'm gonna head off to the blacksmith to get this done. But remember, if you guys need a cart, I'm always willing to discount everything and all the travel. So thank you for this warm welcome. And he kind of just brings the cart around and allows you guys to start like getting off. And as you do, like townsfolk are like helping pulling stuff off. Mayor Dervin kind of steps forward to Nexon and Marvolo and Rain, and she kind of leans in and is like, there's a small situation over at the Rusty Dragon. A friend of yours has made it there, and they need to see you as soon as possible.
Yes, please lead the way.
So as that happens, the mayor turns to the group and says, "Thank you, everyone, for showing up. The heroes are going to head to the Rusty Dragon to get a drink with Miko and Father Xanthus, and please allow them some time, and I'm sure they'll be out, be able to give everyone their fair share and spend some time with the village. So welcome back to Sandpoint." And the crowd kind of cheers and excitedly cheers for the group, and you guys kind of make your way. There's a little puppy running around with a little kid, and you make your way to the Rusty Dragon. And as you open it, you see Shalelu leaning on a chair, her arm bandaged, an eye patch, and it looks very fresh. And that is where we will end it for today. I want to say thank you very much to everyone for being here. Wonderful start. I loved role playing with everyone. I hope everyone out there had fun.
I'm gonna have to. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to drag you out a little bit, Jared. Here. You can't end here. Remember, we got a thing for the next couple of weeks that you got to sort out.
Oh,
so we actually have to get to that bit.
We do have to push you guys into the next part because there are people moving all different places.
Speed role play. Here we go.
Speed role play. Let's do it.
How fast can we do this? So as you walk in, Shalelu's all beaten and battered. She kind of looks at you, and in the back is the fire pelt sitting next to her, licking its paws. Not as badly beaten up as Shalelu. And she sees everyone. She's just like, how'd I beat you guys here? You left like a week ago before me.
Oh my God, you look injured. And she's going to actually go down to the animal instead and start tending to it.
we took a slight detour on our way here.
So yeah, detour. Do you know what's coming?
I'm going to assume giants.
Yeah, about that. So after everything that happened on the mountaintop, after you came back to Turtleback Ferry, me and my dad, we went back up there, and we were trying to the Hook Mountain. We were, the Black Arrows. We were trying to reestablish everything that was happening up that way, reestablish the fortress, clear out the giant area, and I found this. And she unfurls a letter, and it's partially written in Jotun, which is now a language which is just giant, or was giant at one point. And on the letter, you can actually make out that they definitely weren't, the giants up in Hook Mountain were not the moving on their own. And the letter, what it says is, Barl, latest contact with Terracatinus indicates he has narrowed the search. He believes a human town called Sandpoint could hide what my lord seeks. Terracatinus will lead several of the people as well as the dragon on a raid into the town soon. When they return, they may be persuaded, and I need your ogre slaves to aid in Terracatinus's retreat to Jorgenfist. Be ready to return at my command. And then there's a 7-pointed star at the bottom. And it just says M. Now, the name Barl, that was the the giant wizard that was on the chair with Cecilia. And that's what the letter has, and she just kind of puts it down on the table for everyone, that there's definitely going to be some kind of raid in the city of Sandpoint.
Oh no. Why does everything happen in the city? This poor town. Rain's going to look out the window, notice that small child playing with its dog still. They're not ready for this. These people aren't fighters. They're not going to be able to stay off a few giants, much less a full-on attack. Not right now. We just wandered right in. There's no even guards really at the front door. Not ones that are like not trained very well.
And if the size of the giant armies were anything like what we saw at Hook Mountain, we lack the numbers to be able to defend this. Sandpoint is far too small. Maybe there's way we can get word from Magnamar.
I mean, possibly. What could... It took us long enough to get here. Do you think we could possibly send someone to Magnamar and back in time?
That's a good point.
I mean, maybe it's our best hope. I mean, at least for Sandpoint, we're not entirely surrounded by land, so we have a general way in which we could at least fortify for a while, and maybe we could hold out for a little bit. Maybe. Oh gosh.
How would we fortify? With what?
I mean, I think we would have to start clearing some of the trees all around so that way we could get a good clear line of sight. We could use any of those trees to build higher walls, thicker walls, a friggin' entrance to the door, you know.
Perhaps also, if we do cut down some of the trees, turning them into pikes and angling them outwards.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Trenches, things like that. Natural warfare would be a great way to go about this. If we do have an army on the way.
I don't know how we would stop anything from above, though.
Well, I think we need to look at this objectively. What about evacuation? Moving the people who cannot fight away from the town? If there were less casualties, then perhaps buildings can be rebuilt, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but where will they possibly go? There's only so many places, and if we send them out now, they risk running into the army on their way here.
How long do we have, Shalelu?
So as you say that, Shalelu looks at the group and she grimly says, well, I've tangled with 3 of them already, and I barely escaped with my life. I took one out, but the other 2 I had to flee from. And this is what they did to me, just the 3.
I do think fortifying the town is a good idea, but also maybe we should try and find out what it is that they're seeking. Either to protect it to keep them from getting to it, or maybe we can relocate what it is they're seeking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could just try everything. Fortify, evacuate, relocate, get some help. I mean, we're enough, maybe. I hope everyone could go do one task.
Yes.
But
yes.
I mean, I've never fortified anything in my life. The only thing I've ever built is, Dominatrix Empire, but it wasn't with wood. I mean, it was with wood, but not that kind of wood.
Scarlet makes an excellent point. I think if we are to help, then we should do that which we are able. Scarlet, why don't you,
Yes.
Rain and Cecilia, coordinate the evacuation? We have made friends with the people from the farmlands quite throughout the Varisian frontier. If we can move a number of them from the town and into the actual surrounds, then at the very least they'll have a chance. Nexon and I'm fairly sure, will be able to coordinate, and I mean, at least with some of my experience, I'll be able to set some plans for traps and things to hinder them despite their size. I mean, after all, the basic principle of trap making is to use simple tricks and things to fell larger foes. So, and then perhaps once the people are safe, then maybe return, and we'll hope for the best, I guess.
Sounds
Hope
like a
the
plan.
best.
Okay.
All right. Well,
As you say all of that, Father Xanthus, kind of having listened to Mayor and Father Xanthus and obviously Amico have been listening in, Father Xanthus steps forward and says, well, the church will prepare as many spells of healing for the group as possible, if that will be acceptable.
thank you, Father. And please, if you can, begin having people gather as much as they can. Only take what is needed, as we do not know for how long they may need to stay in their new accommodations. I'll if we can find a map or something like that, Malvolo will like label out the farmsteads that we've sort of met around. Maybe even a couple of places, like even Turtleback Ferry, for example. Like there are just a number of places which we know are reasonably safe. So we'll mark these places down. Maybe even the farmer that we came across with the cow, that like maybe those lands even might suffice. So
This might be an odd suggestion, but is there any sort of caves, dwellings, the places that we've just come from, any underground things that giants wouldn't be able to get into or crawl into? I feel like utilizing size would be the best way to go here.
As you kind of say that, Shalelu kind of looks at everyone and says, I might have a really stupid idea, but couldn't we march them up to the old forts?
No, that's a great idea. Weren't there caverns underneath there?
Yeah. And up in Hook Mountain, we could, I mean, it's a two-week travel, but if they start now, we can march them up that way. I could send word to my father and we could kind of get them up that way. I mean, it's going to be rough, but if we get them out now, it might be the fastest move.
We'll have to hurry then.
And then if you guys get to Magmar, you could see about getting a smaller army down this way or some reinforcements.
All right, let's do that.
And then Shalelu, how's your father, by the way?
He is doing well. He wanted me to say hi to you if I had the chance, and it slipped my mind.
This is
just
not
this
the
moment.
time.
Sorry.
okay. Very well.
With that,
Malvolo will go with Nexon. I think obviously our first port of call is as two crafters, probably going to the warehouses and seeing what's up. And we will sort of leave Rain, Cecilia, and Scarlet in the capable hands of the coordinators of the townsfolk, ready to journey to Fort Rannoch.
and with that said, Amico kind of steps forward and places a bunch of different mugs of ale in front of everyone. And she kind of raises one up and she says, to the heroes of Sandpoint, the job is clearly never done. And that is where
we have a new name. And Malvolo will pick up the mug as he says, to the Roonies.
To the Roonies.
Oh,
To the
forgot about
Rooney.
that.
This is the most energetic, excited.
And
Yeah.
Amico looks and says Roonies and kind of laughs a little bit and swigs it down. It looks like the party is ready for an invasion. So let's see how this works out. Woo! But the invasion won't happen until next week, or maybe half of next week. But I do have a bunch of Jinx points, and I'm excited to use them in an invasion.
Also, actually, you've got some other stuff as well. We didn't have time to mention it because we were kind of like headlong into the role play scene of everything. But you also, Jared, have acquired a natural 20.
What?
And Cecilia, you have gained a hero point, both courtesy of our dear friend Serum. And the only reason you couldn't get any more Jinx points is because you've maxed him out. Also,
You need to just start going around it.
yes. Also, a very special hello to Brill Chan. Yes, unfortunately, you did miss today's episode, but I appreciate the fact that you've been watching the episodes. And if ever you have any questions about the series, or if you just want to chat about it, feel free to @DeadAussieGamerMe in the Discord, because we have a Discord for the Runelord chat, and I'd love to be able to just chat to you about what's happening in the game and stuff. You know, yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, that was it.
Oh man, so I'm excited, and Brill Chan, thank you for joining us, and see you next week, at our normal starting hour of well, we have multiple different starting hours because different time zones. But if you follow any one of my amazing players on their media handles, you could totally figure out the time, because we always give out the time, and that's a great segue on shooting it over to my players. So with everyone with love, I'm going to throw it over to Dawn. You could tell everyone where they could find you when you're not here being tormented and pushed by giants.
Hey folks. So yeah, when I'm not here, you can find me over on YouTube at Roll for Initiative, where I make videos with my partner Ryan all about tabletop RPGs and our other geeky interests. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at R4iBlog.
And I'm Becca Godsey. You can find me at XCausticPhoenix here on Twitch, which you can also find us on D20 Deathmatch later tonight, which will be a pretty fun time. So if you're up late or if you're up early morning, be sure to catch us then.
Hi, I'm AJ Winters. You can find me on Winter's Tales YouTube and or Twitch. I stream every Tuesday nights at the moment, and also I release a weekly world building episode of a world I'm building one step at a time in order to host and DM a game in May this year. I'm very excited.
And hi, I'm Aristocrat. You can find my webcomic Sally and Bean on Insta, Webtoon, and all the links will be in my link tree. Every episode comes out every Monday, and right now the new arc is about a pregnant unicorn and her husband Pegasus, so don't miss it.
And what's up, guys? My name's Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. And you can find it here many times during the week. I stream a Patreon game on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, which means we will be back in like 8 hours-ish, maybe a little less, for Rime of the Frost Maiden. But you will also find me on a bunch of different live shows and channels all over the internet. Just hit Google, you'll find me. And then, yeah, every Sunday I'm doing this special game, Rise of the Runelords, as well as every fortnightly on Friday we are playing Sirens and Silver, which is our pirate adventure set in my own homebrew world it is, which I'm very keen and very excited to be playing, so yay!
Thank you very much, Michael, for all of that. And I am your host with the most, your GM Jared, and I'm from Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gamed. You can find me here on Twitch every Wednesday with a different group playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We're currently playing Wrath of the Righteous because I love 1st Edition Pathfinder stuff. And that's NVNG on Twitch, or you could go to my website, nvngpodcast.com, because I do the podcast thing. But with that being said, we couldn't be here without sponsors like Hero Forge for all the really cool miniatures, Sirenscape for all the really cool moo sounds that we get from our role play with druids and cows, and for Fantasy Grounds for all the really cool tabletop stuff that we get to do really far away in multiple different countries for our VTTs. But with all of that being said, I'm going to toss it back over to Michael because Michael likes to raid and help out smaller channels and all the jazz. So, Michael?
Hells yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go and raid. We're going to go and raid our friend Mindari, who is up late at night doing some homebrew. So we're going to go check out her and her wonderful channel. A big shout out to a lot of people who work with me, include, of course, Mindari as well. And a special announcement here. Next week and the week after, we have a special Rise of the Runelords section because we are splitting the party. But even more so, we are actually splitting the whole party. So next week you will not be seeing who's not there. It's me and Dawn are not going to be there. And then the following week, Becca and AJ are going to be elsewhere while we continue this adventure. So lots of shenanigans, lots of cool things. So be sure to come and check it out. Thank you, of course, to you guys for watching. Thank you guys to our sponsors. Thank you guys to Jared for being an incredible GM as always. Special shout out and thank you to the wonderful and amazing Eddie, aka our dear friend Ben, who is the former player that played Krut, who is a beloved character to the series. We hope him well. We love him to bits. We miss him dearly. Until we meet again, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. Good night, everybody.